We need to treat our kids a heck of a lot better, and we need to start it now.
We want to fund and help those people who are truly vulnerable, like these children in CPS.
Troubled kids forced to sleep in CPS offices. What are state lawmakers going to do about it? 9 wants to know, and we're finding out. Good evening, I'm Guy Atchley.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Those kids are bedding down in offices because CPS just doesn't have enough foster homes.
But why can't we do any better? Why can't the state? That's what 9 wants to know, and what our Craig Smith is finding out.
Guys, CPS says in an emergency, keeping kids in an office is safer than leaving them where they could face abuse. But why can't the state come up with some sort of temporary lodging better than an office where they have to improvise ways for kids to sleep, eat, and stay clean? To help kids, we found lawmakers from both parties willing to work fast. State Rep Steve Farley is a Democrat. What can be done and how quickly can it be done?
We need to get new CPS people there. We need to be able to find new foster families, and that's going to take a while. And we need to make sure that there may be temporary dorms with people hired to make sure those kids are safe. If instead of just sitting in an office and asking people for donations.
Farley blames a lot of CPS problems on years of Republican budget cuts, but Republican State Rep Vic Williams says to help a vulnerable group like troubled kids, there's enough money in the budget now for emergency funding.
When you say emergency, how quickly could something actually happen?
Well, I don't technically know, but I can say this. How quickly could something like this happen? We could start on it tomorrow. If the governor would be willing to call a special session, we could make appropriations through the legislature and have an emergency session and have it done within 24, 48 hours, 72 hours. It's something I think that it's just a matter of the will of the legislature to get out and help fix this problem.
The governor would have to call a special session with support from leaders of the state House and Senate.
Is Speaker Tobin there, please?
We left messages with the Speaker of the House and the Senate President. The governor's spokesman says no one likes kids sleeping in offices, but it's infrequent and short term. As for special funding, he says in part, Governor Brewer is always willing to consider requests from her state agencies. To date, I'm not aware that any such request has been made by DES.
Now, we certainly had to ask CPS and the parent agency DES about that. Their spokesman says it is true. CPS has not asked for any sort of help for a better place to keep kids while arranging for foster care. The CPS spokesman says they resort to offices infrequently and for a few hours at a time, and they want to put the emphasis on recruiting new foster families. But we also know it takes months to have foster families screened and trained before they can take in a child.
So the lawmakers want to help, but what about that special session?
Well, Williams says he'll push for that special session, and he'll even write guest editorials to push for it. Now, Farley is in the minority party, so he needs Republican support, but he says he'll push it too. But ultimately, the governor and the leadership of the House and Senate have the last word on whether a special session will happen.
All right, Craig. Thank you.